Hello there you guys, welcome to another of my live videos, and today I'm just going to be officially updating you on some more current latest transfer rumours and gossip. So if you do consider drop your likes, and if you do consider subscribe to the channel as always. So the first topic of development I'm going to give you an update on is in regards to Paul Pogba. There was a lot of news circulating around the media yesterday. It was also coming from Sky Sports saying that Juventus are interested in re-signing Paul Pogba, and it does say that Juventus have made initial contact with Paul Pogba's agent Raiola over the potential move. And I think this is actually stemming from the Italian journalist Di Marzio. He's basically said that Juventus have made initial contact with Manchester United, but obviously no bid as yet being put in. So obviously they are going to have to start negotiations of obviously coming to an agreement on a fee. I think more than likely that Juventus will have to offload a couple of their players, to lure Paul Pogba away from Manchester United, because obviously I don't think Juventus, would be able to afford a straight cash payment. So I think that's offload a couple of their players to fund the move for Paul Pogba. But I think Paul Pogba would be open to making the return back to Turin, because don't forget he did have 4 good years in Turin with Juventus, before he did make the return back to Manchester United in 2016. Obviously during his 4 years in Turin, he exceeded expectation levels. Obviously, he won 4 Serie A's on the trot, plus he won 2 Coppa Italians, but he hasn't really replicated this form at Manchester United, and we do know it's been looking very imminent that he's set to leave the club. Obviously, from Paul Pogba's perspective, he wants to leave Manchester United. Obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, he's trying to do everything he can to convince Paul Pogba to remain at the football club, because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer knows how much of an imperative player that Paul Pogba is. Obviously, we had Paul Pogba, before he went to Juventus, of course, when he was younger. This was obviously under the Alex Ferguson era. I think we got him in 2009 from Lee Harvey, and then a couple of years later, he made a couple of first team appearances. But then, based on limited appearances under Alex Ferguson, Manchester United, of course, let him go on a free transfer. Then he went and had 4 good years in Turin with Juventus. So now it does say Juventus have stepped their interest up in Paul Pogba. It was saying towards the back end of last week as well that Juventus had offered Manchester United 2 players in the pursuit of Paul Pogba. So it did say Juventus offered Manchester United Paul Dybala and Alexandro, and actually Paul Dybala has been on Manchester United's agenda for quite some time. But I think from Paul Pogba's perspective, I think his preferred destination of course is Real Madrid, and if he does leave the club this summer, I still believe he'll end up making the move to Real Madrid. But based on the huge transfer fee that Manchester United have put on Paul Pogba, this could be a stumbling block of Paul Pogba leaving Manchester United. But he definitely wants to leave the club. Obviously it came out the other week saying that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was willing to offer Paul Pogba the captaincy in a bid to convince Paul Pogba to stay at Manchester United. Obviously we do know his agent Raiola, at least in the last 5 or 6 weeks, has been in the process of finding him a new club. Obviously Paul Pogba's still got 3 years left on his contract. Obviously we paid £89 million to him back in 2016, so obviously Paul Pogba is our most expensive signing. But obviously Zinedine Zidane is working on trying to get a deal over the line for Paul Pogba. Because we do know he's been heavily linked with a move to Real Madrid. So Zinedine Zidane's got a hell of a lot of targets on his agenda this summer. But obviously, his 2 main targets, of course, are Paul Pogba and Chelsea Eden Hazard. Reportedly, I think Manchester United want around 150 or 160 million pounds to him. And obviously, these are figures that Real Madrid are reluctant to currently pay. But it did come out from a lot of Spanish outlets the other week, was it? Saying that Paul Pogba to Real Madrid is practically done. It did say that Paul Pogba had agreed a massive pay cut on his wages and that. So it did say his wages were set to reduce from 13 million to 10 million pounds a year. So his wages were set to drop by around 3 million pounds a year. But obviously they couldn't. Obviously an initial fee has not yet come to an agreement. So I think actually Real Madrid have come up with a new plan to try and lure Paul Pogba away from Manchester United. And and I think Florentino Perez is not keen on a straight cash payment. So he did say Real Madrid are willing to offer up to 3 of their players to in a bid to sign Paul Pogba from Manchester United. And obviously the 3 players they are willing to offer that got mentioned was obviously Gareth Bale, who's obviously the most obvious one, James Rodriguez, and also Keylor Navas got mentioned. But like I was saying about Gareth Bale, I don't want to see him part of the deal with Paul Pogba. Obviously I know Zinedine Zidane has declared that Gareth Bale has no future with Real Madrid, and Zinedine Zidane has confirmed that Gareth Bale is no longer in his plans at Real Madrid. So basically Real Madrid don't want Gareth Bale. I think from Gareth Bale's perspective, he still wants to remain at Real Madrid. I think he's intending on spending the rest of his playing career with Real Madrid, is Gareth Bale. But like I said, I don't want to seeing part of the deal with Paul Pogba. I know Real Madrid paid, what, £85 million for him from Tottenham, you know, back in 2013. You know, discarding Bale as being part of any swap deal, I wrote, you know, Real Madrid are not going to recoup the initial £85 million that they did pay for him back in 2013. And I think, you know, I think it's going to be hard anywhere for Real Madrid, you know, to get rid of him permanently, you know, based on, you know, on his substantial wages, because I think he's on about 600 odd grand a week with Real Madrid. But I think Bale's been inconsistent in his last couple of seasons, at least with Real Madrid. Like I said, he's injury prone as well, and this is another main factor reason why I wouldn't want him at Manchester United, because he's injury prone. He's aging up as well. He's what, nearly 30 years of age now. He's Gareth Bale. He's on the decline. You can play him on the left. You can also play him on the right. I think he has got 3 years left on his contract with Real Madrid. But I think Bale's ratio, you know, still very, very impressive. You know, I think Bale has still scored like 102 goals in 231 games for Real Madrid. I think he's won about 13 major honours, but he has been at Real Madrid 6 years. But we do know Bale's been linked with a move to Manchester United, you know, since like the David Moyes era, and obviously, you know, the rumours have continued to persist since then. And I know he's 29 now, he's nearly 30. If you'd have asked me a couple of years ago, I probably, you know, would have took Gareth Bale at Manchester United, but now I do not want him as part of the deal with Paul Pogba. You know, don't get me wrong, he had a lot of experience of playing. He had a lot of experience of playing in the Premier League, you know, when he was younger with Tottenham, because he did have 6 good years with Tottenham, you know, did Bale. Obviously, Real Madrid lost Cristiano Ronaldo last summer, and obviously then it was Bale's job, you know, to step up to the plate, but obviously, you know, Bale did not do this, so obviously, you know, Zinedine Zidane wants to get rid of him. But I don't think Manchester United, you know, would like, well, the vast majority of Manchester United fans, you know, would not like to see Gareth Bale as part of the deal with Paul Pogba. Like I said, James Rodriguez got mentioned. James Rodriguez, I think he's set to return to Real Madrid. Obviously, he's on loan at Bayern Munich at the moment. Obviously, he's been on a 2-year loan spell with them. He's an attacking midfielder. He can also play as a winger, can James Rodriguez. I think he's 27. He's nearly 28 years of age now. So James Rodriguez has still got quite a bit of a development in him. So he's been mentioned. Also, Keylor Navas has also been mentioned. Keylor Navas, you know, we'd actually, you know, see him as a replacement for David De Gea, because it's looking very imminent that David De Gea is going to be leaving Manchester United. Obviously, we failed to come to an agreement to get him a new contract. I think also Isco got mentioned as well, but I wouldn't like Isco at Manchester United. Even though I highly rate Isco, I think he's a really, really good player. I think he's actually, you know, primarily an attacking midfielder. I think when he was younger, I think he played in various positions, you know, the Isco, but I think now he's predominantly an attacking midfielder. But I just don't see, if he was to come to Manchester United, I just don't see how he would fit in Manchester United's system, you know, to be quite honest. And this is why I wouldn't be keen on bringing him to Manchester United. You know, Isco's obviously spent the entirety of his career in Spain. Obviously, he's been at Real Madrid 6 years. I think he's played about 277 games. But I think, you know, Isco has been subjected to quite a bit of transfer speculation, because obviously, you know, reflecting back on last season, he enjoyed a very, very difficult time, because obviously the majority of his appearances, you know, came on the bench, you know, especially under Santiago Solari. I think if Isco, you know, was to come to the Premier League, I think he'd probably fit Manchester City's system with Isco, but I just don't think he'd fit Manchester United's system. And discarding Isco being part of any swap deal, you know, is probably going to cost you over £100 million anywhere. Real Madrid, of course, paid around £27 million for him from Malaga back in 2013. And don't get me wrong, I really, really like him, but I just don't see how he would fit Manchester United's system. So reportedly, Real Madrid are willing to offer up to 3 players to lure Paul Pogba away from Manchester United. So whether Paul Pogba stays or goes, I do not know. You know, some Manchester United fans, you know, will be happy if he goes. You know, some Manchester United fans will be disappointed if he goes, because, you know, he's still 26 and he's in his prime, and he has still got a lot of development in him as Paul Pogba. You know, don't forget, he hasn't really exceeded expectation levels at Manchester United. You know, we mainly saw the best of Paul Pogba when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was the interim manager in his first 3 months, and we mainly saw the best of Paul Pogba when Ander Herrera was playing. So that just emphasises how much of an impact, you know, Ander Herrera, you know, did make in that midfield, because he freed up Pogba. Pogba was scoring goals, Pogba was providing, and in that 3-month period, Paul Pogba was in absolutely scintillating form. But maybe as well, a couple of main factor reasons why Paul Pogba wants to leave the club. Maybe he wants to be playing amongst better players. Maybe he wants to be in Champions League football, wants to be winning trophies, wants to be, you know, at a competitive elite level football club. And obviously, you know, Manchester United can't offer him, you know, Champions League football for next season. But recent reports did say that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and Paul Pogba's relationship is slowly fading, even though they built a great relationship up together, because obviously, you know, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer knows Paul Pogba well, because obviously when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer managed the Manchester United reserve team, you know, he watched some of his team at this day and age, of course, grow and develop, and of course, one of them was Paul Pogba. But now, according to Sky Sports, reports and all that, and quite a few other media outlets, you know, Juventus have inquired about Paul Pogba's services, and I think Juventus are interested in taking Paul Pogba, you know, back to Turin, but no bid has been put on as yet. I do think they'll probably come to an agreement on the fee about coming. They'll start the negotiations about coming to an agreement on a fee and all that. But I think Juventus have got to offload a couple of their players. But I do think, you know, the good replacement for Paul Pogba, you know, would be James Maddison from Leicester. I give you an update about James Maddison yesterday, because there was a lot of talks going on about him. So, according to recent reports about James Maddison, it does say now we have emerged him as a priority target, and it does say we have emerged as the front runners, you know, to currently get the player's signature. But James Maddison is really, really good indeed. He's the type of player that Manchester United, you know, should be looking at. You know, very young, 22 years of age. He's also British, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's emphasised an interest in quite a few British players, and obviously he's going to fit Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's transfer strategy, because obviously Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, you know, wants to get young players to Manchester United this summer. Like I said, you know, James Maddison is only 22 years of age, but I think he enjoyed a very productive first season in the Premier League with Leicester. I think he created more chances than anybody last season with Leicester as well. I think he was involved in about 14 goals. I think he got 7 goals and about 7 assists. I think he's made about 36 appearances in the Premier League as James Maddison. But yeah, he's had a year of experience under his belt now in the Premier League, and I think he's a very, very good player. He is an attacking midfielder. I think for a number of years, the likes of City have been in for him, you know, Liverpool have been in for him, also Tottenham have been in for him, but reportedly he's favoured to come to Manchester United. I think the quoted fee is around £60 million that Leicester, you know, do want for him. But I think from James Maddison's perspective, he has got reservations about joining Manchester United, because obviously, you know, we can't offer him, you know, Champions League football for next season. So there was a lot of talks about him going on in the media yesterday. Leicester paid £20 million for James Maddison last summer from Norwich, because I think he did have a couple of seasons in the Championship with Norwich, and I think he had a stellar campaign in the Championship. I think he initially began his career with Coventry. I think he also had a loan spell with Coventry. I think he also had a loan spell in Scotland with Aberdeen. So there has been a lot of talks about James Maddison going on. So I think he'd be the good, adequate replacement for Paul Pogba. But he was very, very good for Leicester last season. Of course, he's obviously now well Premier League proven now, but a number of clubs have showed their interest in James Maddison. So basically, if Leicester can sell him for £60 million, obviously, you know, they'll, you know, gain a £40 million profit, and they'll get treble the money of what they initially paid for him from Norwich, you know, last summer. And I think he's got a 5-year contract with Leicester, so he's under contract with Leicester until 2023. So he could be, you know, possibly on his way to Manchester United, you know, which is very, very good news. As I've been giving you know, my update as well about Bruno Fernandes from Sporting Lisbon, I think Manchester United want to finalise a deal for Bruno Fernandes sometime this week, as recent reports have suggested. According to Ebola, the Portuguese press, you know, they are saying now we are emerged as the front runners, you know, to currently get the player's signature. Obviously, it has been Manchester United and Manchester City that have been battling it out for Bruno Fernandes' services, and I do really, really like him indeed. Like I said, it came out the other week saying that City were emerged as the front runners, you know, to currently get Bruno Fernandes' signature, because I think it did say Manchester United are willing to offer more than you know, Manchester City for his current services. I think we're set to get him in a deal worth around £70 million. I think it just says that City are willing to offer up to around £40 million for his services, but it did say City were willing to offload a couple of their players as part of the deal. But Bruno Fernandes is primarily an attacking midfielder. Like I said, we want to get the deal finalised this week, but we do know he's been on Manchester United's agenda for some time. He has been on Manchester City's agenda, you know, for quite some time as Bruno Fernandes, but he did give us an update about his future. He did say he's still uncertain about his future, as Bruno Fernandes. He said he's had a good couple of intense years with Sporting Lisbon. He doesn't know if he's going to be having a third year with them yet. He did deny having any negotiations with Manchester United over the potential move to Old Trafford, Bruno Fernandes, but he's only 24 years of age, and I do believe he's got all the capabilities and all the attributes to succeed in the Premier League, you know, Bruno Fernandes, and he definitely exceed expectation levels in the Premier League, because obviously a player of his calibre is obviously going to want to take his footballing career to the next level, of course. And like I said, I think Bruno Fernandes, you know, would be the adequate replacement for Paul Pogba. He's under contract with Sporting Lisbon until 2023. Well, his initial release clause is around £86 million in his contract with Sporting Lisbon, but obviously Man United and Manchester City are reluctant to trigger his current release clause. Obviously, he had a lot of experience of playing in Italy, you know, when he was younger. He played with the likes of San Pandora and Underneath, of course. Obviously, a player of Bruno Fernandes' calibre, and obviously the more attractive option for him, would be Manchester City, because obviously Manchester City, strides ahead of us at the moment. Manchester City can offer him Champions League football. Obviously, Manchester City, the dominant force in England at the moment. But I think recent reports did say we are emerged as the front runners to get Bruno Fernandes' signature. But he can score goals, he can provide, which is very, very good. And I do believe he'd been as them goals from that midfield. But I actually, want James Maddison, of course, because obviously Bruno Fernandes hasn't played in the Premier League yet, and James Maddison has of course. And James Maddison's really, really good at creating chances. His work ethic's really, really good. His physicality's really, really good. And obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's made it clear. He wants to bring players in who he thinks are going to fit the culture and the history of the club. And I think James Maddison would be the right solution, because you can see there's a lot of problems at Manchester United at the moment. There is cultural problems at the club. It's obviously very essential that we need to get a director of footballing, and that's a structural change that we do need at the club, is getting a director of footballing. Obviously, we want to get a director of footballing before the start of next season. That is very, very essential indeed. There has been quite a few candidate names mentioned, but it would be ideal to recommend someone who knows the culture of the club, someone who of course has got the experience. But Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is obviously getting a spending fee of around £250 million. Like I said, that should be enough for us to get around at least 5 players, because Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants to bring at least 5 new additions to the club. So Solskjaer is working on bringing the right players to Manchester United who he thinks are going to be good enough to represent Manchester United. And obviously wants to fulfil their areas where he thinks Manchester United are lacking, because you can see the deficiencies in the squad. Quite a few people have said we should be sensible with our recruitment this summer, because there is a lot of players on Manchester United's agenda that are available for a reasonable figure. That are available for a reasonable figure. But I did say it's going to be a lot more than £250 million. Obviously, if we can get rid of Romelu Lukaku, if we can sell Paul Pogba, if we can sell De Gea, that'll be beneficial. I think it'll help us with our rebuilding process, and it will help us, of course, with our transition. But like I said, James Maddison, would be absolutely fantastic for Manchester United. So reporting now we need sending say Leicester want around £60 million in. Whether James Maddison wants to come to Manchester United or not, I do not know. But the reports have said we are emerged as the front runners for the player. But he's had a year of experience under his belt in the Premier League, and he has exceeded expectation levels, really, really well. He can score goals, he can provide. He created more chances than any other player last season in the Premier League as well. So he was absolutely phenomenal last season with Leicester. So there has been a lot of talks about James Maddison going on. As I've been giving you my latest news about Adrien Rabiot as well from PSG. Obviously, quite a lot of teams have inquired about his services, and Adrien Rabiot, I think a lot of people have got reservations about his attitude. Some people say he's got a really bad attitude problem as Adrien Rabiot. I think Adrien Rabiot is primarily a central midfielder, but he can play in other positions. But a number of clubs have inquired about his services. Obviously, we've been interested. Arsenal have been in there. I think Tottenham have been in there. Juventus have been in there. I think also Everton have inquired about his services. I think it came out last week saying that Real Betis have inquired about his services. So many teams have been in there for Adrien Rabiot, because obviously it's imminent that he's going to be leaving PSG. The beneficial thing is about this is no team would have to pay any transfer fee for Adrien Rabiot, because obviously he's coming to an end of his contract. Is Adrien Rabiot is coming to an end of his contract, so he is going to be available on the free. Obviously, he hasn't played for PSG since December of last year. He'd obviously been withdrawn from the PSG squad by Thomas Tuchel. Based on his refusal to sign a new contract. So it's looking very imminent he's going to be leaving. It still remains uncertain at the moment where he will be applying his trade next season. I think it came out from the media yesterday saying that Adrien Rabiot, from his own perspective, wants to make the move to Liverpool. But it does reportedly say Manchester United have reportedly offered him a lucrative contract worth up to £170,000 a week. £170,000 a week. It also says that there's a signing on fee included, and I think this signing on fee is around £10 million a year. So obviously that equates to around £170,000 a week. But like I said, I think he's willing to turn this down, and reportedly Adrien Rabiot, does want to make the move to Liverpool. He is 24 years of age, so he has still got a lot of development in him. It does say Man United and Arsenal have made initial contact. It also says Everton have held negotiations. Maybe Umran May is keen on reuniting with Adrien Rabiot, because actually Adrien Rabiot, flourished under Umran May's guidance. But since Umran May left, Adrien Rabiot has found himself surplus to requirements. So Arsenal have inquired about his services. But like I said, it still remains uncertain where he will be applying his trade next season. Adrian Rabiot has spent the majority of his career with PSG. I think he served about 8 years there. I think he's made over 200 odd appearances in all competitions for them. I think he's won about 18 major honours, including 5 League One titles. I think he also had a spell with Manchester City when he was a lot younger, so he's had experience, of course, of playing in Manchester. So I think a lot of Manchester United fans will probably have strong reservations about Adrian Rabiot, coming in, based and reflecting on his attitude and all that, because a lot of people say he has got a bad attitude as Adrian Rabiot, but it actually came out, last week? It was coming from a lot of Spanish outlets, including Mundo Deportivo, and they were basically saying, Manchester United were merged as a front runners, to currently get the player's signature, and we would actually see him as a replacement for Ander Herrera. We know Ander Herrera's leaving on a free transfer, but is he going to PSG, if I'm right? If he is going to PSG, obviously, PSG going to see Herrera as the replacement for Adrian Rabiot. At one point, it was looking very imminent. He was supposed to be going to Barcelona, where was Adrian Rabiot, but I think Barcelona adopted out of the race, based on his salary demands and based on the sign-on fee, and that I think his salary demands and his sign-on fee has put quite a few teams off, getting Adrian Rabiot, like I said. But he did say Man United are willing to meet his salary demands and his sign-on fee, but reportedly from his own perspective, he wants to make the move to Liverpool. So that is the latest news about Adrian Rabiot. As I've been giving you an update on a regular basis as well about Thomas Meunier from PSG. It does say Manchester United and Arsenal have inquired about his services. Obviously, we know Thomas Meunier is predominantly a right back, and obviously we do know Manchester United do need a right back. Obviously, Arsenal have got issues defensively. Obviously, Manchester United have got issues defensively. So obviously, both teams looking to bolster their back lines. But with Thomas Meunier, I think he's a really, really good right back, because like I said, he's predominantly a right back. He can play in other positions, so he is versatile, but mainly a right back, and he can score goals and he can provide. And it's very, very imminent that he's going to be leaving PSG. But I think from Thomas Meunier's perspective, his preferred destination is Manchester United, because I think it got revealed he has been a Manchester United fan, since he was a child. Don't get me wrong, a lot of this talk, could be a stemming, from his agent and all that, but it does say Manchester United have made initial contact. It also said Arsenal have made initial contact, because maybe Umran is keen on reuniting with Thomas Meunier, because actually Thomas Meunier found himself more of a regular starter for PSG when Umran was there, but since Umran departed PSG, Thomas Meunier has found himself surplus to requirements, and he's found game time very, very difficult. So maybe this is the main factor reason why he's going to be leaving PSG this summer. He's only got a year left on his contract with Paris Saint-Germain, but he is available for a reasonable figure. Reportedly did say the other day he's set to join Manchester United in a deal worth around £22 million. Well, he didn't actually say PSG. The quoted fee was around £25 million that Paris Saint-Germain wanted for him. He's 27 years of age, so he has still got a lot of development in him. Obviously, hasn't played in the Premier League yet. He has been at PSG about 3 years. I think he's made just over 100 appearances for them. I think PSG paid around £5 million for him from Club Brugge back in 2016. But he has done really, really well in his number of years with PSG. But since Umran left, he's found himself surplus to requirements. So it does say Man United and Arsenal have made initial contact. But looking at it from a financial point of view, Thomas Meunier is a much cheaper, is a cheap alternative, and he's going to obviously we know that Thomas Meunier is going to substantially cost us a lot less than Wan-Bissaka, because we've showed an interest in quite a few right backs, and we've showed an interest in quite a few right backs, and obviously Wan-Bissaka has been one of the right backs we've been interesting, because obviously he's been one of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's prime targets. But like I said, Meunier is going to substantially cost us a lot less than Wan-Bissaka. It obviously came out last week saying that Crystal Palace want around £60 million for Wan-Bissaka, or is it £70 million? And obviously this is a figure that Manchester United, of course, I don't think are willing to meet. I really, really like Wan-Bissaka. Don't get me wrong, he's still very, very young. He's 21 years of age. He's Wan-Bissaka, so he has still got a lot of years ahead of him. I think he's only been in Crystal Palace's senior squad about 15 months now, and he's done really, really well. I think he's regarded as one of the best right backs in the Premier League. I think he's got 3 years left on his contract with Crystal Palace, but I think it came out, was it last week or was it the week before, saying that we had submitted a bid of around £25 million to him. Obviously, this figure is not going to be enough, to convince Crystal Palace to let him go. So he has been one of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's prime targets. And whether Wan-Bissaka leaves Crystal Palace or not, I do not know. He may intend on spending another season season with them, but at some point in his career anyway, I want to take his career to the next level with Aaron Wan-Bissaka, because so far he has spent the entirety of his career with Crystal Palace. I think he joined their youth academy at just the age of 11. Initially, when he was younger, he was an actual winner, but as he was growing and developing more, he actually got rotated to as a right back, did Aaron Wan-Bissaka. So yeah, he's been on Manchester United's agenda, but I think we have now prioritised Thomas Meunier over Aaron Wan-Bissaka, because Thomas Meunier is going to substantially cost us a lot less than Aaron Wan-Bissaka. But Thomas Meunier is a lot more experienced than Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Obviously, Aaron Wan-Bissaka has proven in the Premier League. Obviously, Thomas Meunier hasn't played in the Premier League, but Thomas Meunier is a much cheaper solution. But yeah, I said we need a right back anyway. We need a replacement for Antonio Valencia. We need a cover up for Diego Dalot, and obviously we need an upgrade to Ash Young, because we know, like I said, Valencia is leaving. He's obviously served 10 years at the club. I don't know where Valencia is going, where his next destination is going to be, but obviously we know he's leaving Manchester United, of course. With Diego Dalot, is obviously he's the upcoming future, of course. He did demonstrated towards the back end of last season that he can play really, really well and hold his line very, very well. Diego Dalot, I think he's predominantly a right back as Diego Dalot, but quite a few times last season, we played him as a right winger, because he can play him as a right winger, but he's predominantly a right back. But obviously, Ash Young is our first choice right back, which he shouldn't be, but obviously he is. So yeah, it's looking likely, according to recent reports, that we're going to get a deal over the line for Thomas Meunier, which is very, very good news. As I've been giving you an update on as well about Matthias de Ligt for Ajax, it could be looking very imminent. He could be on his way to Manchester United. As I did give you my update on my video yesterday. That Matthias de Ligt has hinted that he's close to making a final decision on his future and all that. So he's close to making a final decision on his future. He did basically say, Matthias de Ligt, he did say he's set to inform Manchester United in the coming days about a decision on his future. So I think it is looking very imminent. He's set to leave Ajax. It still remains uncertain where he will be applying his trade next season. But I think we are emerged as the front runners to currently get the players' signature. Still, some reports still speculate saying that Barcelona are the favourites. Even though reports came out the other week. Saying that, talks between Matthias de Ligt and Barcelona had stalled, based on, Barcelona were not willing to meet, what de Ligt was demanding, what his agent Raiola was demanding, and it did say they struggled to come to an agreement on the terms, so it did say initially talks had stopped, but we do know a lot of teams have inquired about his services. We know Manchester City have been linked to him, obviously they're looking for the replacement company. Obviously we know that Liverpool have been linked to him. Obviously, I think Juventus have been in for him. He did say yesterday that Juventus have put a bid in for him of around £75 million. Obviously, PSG have been in for him, Bayern Munich have been in for him. There's been so many teams that have inquired about his services, because he has been widely spoken about throughout the course of this window. But we do know, at least in the last couple of months, that Barcelona have been in the ascendancy of getting a deal over the line for Matthias de Ligt. It only came out from Sky Sports the other week saying that Matthias de Ligt is set to join Barcelona, because I think he made an admission, and I think from his own perspective his preferred destination was Barcelona. But obviously there's been a change of senior year since then. But it does say Manchester United are willing to offer him a contract, worth up to £350,000 a week. And obviously, this equates to almost £17 million a year. But if this was actually to process, this would make Matthias de Ligt, one of the highest paid players at Manchester United. I think it'd actually make him the second highest paid player at Manchester United, plus making the highest paid teenager in world football. Obviously, in terms of transfer fees, he's going to cost you from between probably 70 to 75 million pounds. And reports of a week said that Manchester United put a bid in for him of around £75 million. But I think he would be fantastic for us. He is a centre back, and obviously that's one of the priority areas where Manchester United of course do need to strengthen up. But I think Matthias de Ligt, would be the right solution. If he comes to the Premier League, it's going to definitely, take him his footballing career to the next level. He's only 19 years of age. Obviously, so far has spent the entirety of his career with Ajax, being an Ajax player since the age of 9. Progressing up the ranks fantastically well. Broke into there. I think he made his senior debut with just the age of 17. So I think he's had like 2.5, 3 years worth of experience in their senior squad under his belt. And I think he got named captain for Ajax at just the age of 18. So he has become an integral part of Ajax's squad, as Matthias said earlier. Obviously, you know, he enjoyed a very, he enjoyed a very, great. He enjoyed a great season with Ajax last season, of course, winning the domestic double then for the first time in 17 years, of course, winning the Eredivisie title for the first time in 5 years, and of course progressing to the Champions League semi-final. I think also Matthias, to let you know, won the Golden Boy Award there last year, but I still think his future is up in the air at the moment. He did say he was set to notify Manchester United about his decision in the next couple of days, but I think if he was to come to Manchester United, it would be a better solution for him than it would be going to Barcelona, because Manchester United, you know, could kind of show him first team football, and first team football for him would be much easier for him at Manchester United, you know, than it would be at Barcelona. And obviously, you know, we're willing to meet, you know, what De Ligt is currently demanding. So, you know, I don't know, you know, it's still up in the air at the moment. It is, you know, a lot of teams are currently in for him. Like I said, he did say the other week that Manchester United had ruled out a move for Matthias De Ligt. He said we'd withdrawn our interest, because I think we're actually, you know, too convinced he was set to join Barcelona. Obviously, you know, Barcelona have already got a deal over the line for his current teammate, Frankie de Jong. Obviously, you know, Barcelona paid around £65 million for Frankie de Jong. So it still remains uncertain at the moment. I'm going to read a bit more up about Matthias De Ligt, in fact, but I do really like him, and he did it indeed, and I think he'd address our defensive deficiencies, you know, fantastically well, because I did say we need two central defenders. You know, we need someone that can go alongside Victor Lindelof, because we've got the likes of Smalling and Jones that are not good enough, you know, to represent Manchester United. You know, Smalling's been here 9 years, Jones has been here 8 years, and they have demonstrated in the the years they have been at Manchester United, you know, that they can play well, that they can hold the line very, very well. But as I said, too inconsistent now. You know, comparing them both, I think Smalling's, you know, actually strides ahead of Phil Jones. So I think, you know, Smalling's a much better defender than Phil Jones. But it was a bad mistake for Manchester United, you know, giving them a new long-term contract. So I think we have got to, you know, basically get rid of them. But obviously we're not going to get rid of them, because, you know, they are going to be at Manchester United next season. You know, talking about Rojo and Darmian, you know, they should be going. I think at an estimated guess, you know, we can get around 25 or 30 million pounds for Matteo Darmian and Marcus Rojo. With Eric Bay, do I think he'll leave Manchester United? Probably not. I think he probably still will be here next season, but I think he's going to find first team football very, very difficult. I really, really like Eric Bay. Don't get me wrong, I think his potential's really, really good, and you know, he really, really does play well when he's fully fit. But I think his career's been really badly affected, you know, based on his fallout under managers. You know, with his injuries, he has sustained. I think reports came out quite a few weeks back saying that Arsenal were interested in Eric Bay, but I think if we were willing to sell him, you know, we would, you know, want to recoup the initial £30 million that we did pay for him from Villarreal back in 2016. So yeah, we definitely, you know, need two central defenders, but I think Matthias De Ligt would be the right solution. I think if he came to the Premier League, he'd tear the Premier League up and he'd exceed expectation levels in the Premier League. So obviously Matthias De Ligt is going to want to take his footballing career to the next level. So that is the latest news about Matthias De Ligt. As I've been giving, you know, latest news about Romelu Lukaku on a regular basis now, we do know it's been looking very imminent. He's set to be leaving Manchester United as Lukaku, and obviously he's obviously, you know, one of the favourable players that's set to leave Manchester United this summer. But now reportedly his proposed move now to Inter Milan could be under threat. Obviously, you know, due to financial fair play rules, I think Inter Milan have got to raise around £40 million before the 30th of June, you know, to meet financial fair play regulations. Now, based on this could be the stumbling block of Lukaku, you know, making his proposed move to Inter Milan. Also, another thing that could be the stumbling block of Lukaku making his move to Inter Milan is the transfer fee, of course, because we put a huge transfer fee on him, because obviously, you know, towards the back end of last week, he said the quoted fee was around £80 million that we did want for Romelu Lukaku, and obviously, you know, this is a figure that Inter Milan are going to be reluctant to currently meet. So obviously, Antonio Conte is Inter Milan's new manager, and obviously, you know, he's identified Romelu Lukaku as his number one target. But he did initially say, you know, that everything else has been agreed. He did say Inter Milan have agreed to personal terms with Lukaku. He did say Inter Milan have agreed a 5-year deal with Romelu Lukaku worth around £7.5 million a year. It also said that Inter Milan are willing to meet his wage demands, and it also said that Lukaku quite a few weeks back had been in Italy, you know, holding negotiations with Inter Milan's representatives and all that, you know, over getting a deal finalised. So it did say everything else has been agreed. It also said Lukaku was willing to take a pay cut to make his move to Inter Milan, but obviously, you know, they haven't come to an agreement on an initial fee. Potentially Lukaku is destined to leave Manchester United. He's destined to make the move to Italy, because he was talking about his dream of playing in the Serie A a while back and all that. And obviously, Manchester United told him last week that he can leave the club. Obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer told Lukaku that he's surplus to requirements at Manchester United, because obviously he enjoyed a very difficult second season with Manchester United. Did Romelu Lukaku. Obviously, we know mainly Rashford had been first choice ahead of him. And obviously, Lukaku's 26. He's still got a lot of development in him. So this is maybe why we think he's still worth around between 70 or 80 million pounds. But obviously, Lukaku will want to get first team football week in, week out. And obviously, at Manchester United now, he's not assured first team football. So he'll probably want to leave Manchester United so he can get guaranteed first team football week in, week out. And Manchester United, like I've just said, can't guarantee him this first team football. So we've got to get rid of him, and it will be very beneficial indeed. So basically, we are looking to recoup the majority of the money that we did pay for him from Everton back in 2017, because obviously we got him for £75 million from Everton. There were several add-ons, including the deal of around £15 million, which was in the deal to £90 million. And obviously Lukaku's still got 3 years left on his contract with the club, and I think he's on about £250,000 a week. But like I currently said, there is a possibility now that he could remain at the football club, based on the huge transfer fee, based on these financial fair play rules. But if Inter Milan can raise £40 million before the 30th of June, their proposed move, their move for Lukaku is still, potentially on. But potentially, I think maybe Inter Milan are looking to get rid of a couple of players, and I think Inter Milan want to get rid of Mario Icardi. Now, Icardi was spoken about a while back about as being part of the deal with Romelu Lukaku, and I like Mario Icardi. Done very well in Italy and all that. Still in his mid-20s and all that. Scored a hell of a lot of goals for Inter Milan. But I don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is keen on bringing him in. Obviously, it came out last week saying that Inter Milan were willing to offer £30 million plus Ivan Perisic as part of the deal. But obviously, we know Ivan Perisic is no longer a Manchester United target, so we're not willing to go along with that. I think it did say if we were willing to let Lukaku go as part of any swap deal, we were demanding Inter Milan's Milan Skriniar, and obviously he's been a long-term target for Manchester United as Milan Skriniar. So so I think we're only willing to let him go as part of a swap deal if we can get Milan Skriniar. Whether Inter Milan are willing to go along with that or not, I do not know. But it still remains uncertain what's going to be happening with Romelu Lukaku. But I do want us to actually get rid of him because I think he's too inconsistent. He can perform well when he's getting that support up front. He can look a bit more effective, but I've got strong reservations about him. His first touch, his footballing ability, his link-up play, it all concerns me. Don't get me wrong, his ratio's still very good in the Premier League. His pedigree is very good in the Premier League. But we have definitely got to get rid of Romelu Lukaku. Like I said, it's looking likely that Juan Mata is going to be leaving the football club. Obviously, the club have failed to agree a contract extension for him. The last time I heard that Newcastle were interested in Juan Mata, I think Newcastle are set to be getting new owners in, aren't they, if I'm right? Taking over their football club. I might be wrong about that. I think they are anyway. I heard something about that the other week. But I think, Rafael Benitez is keen on reuniting with Juan Mata, because obviously, Juan Mata played under Rafael Benitez, during his time with Chelsea. So it did say the other week, a couple of weeks ago, that Newcastle were interested in Juan Mata. I think Barcelona have been in talks as well of getting him on a free transfer. But obviously, we know now he doesn't even get in the team with Manchester United, does Juan Mata. So basically, he's a squad player. I do really like him. I'd love him to spend at least another season with the club, but I just don't see it happening, so I do see him going. I think Man United have been in talks of getting him 1 year extension, or is it a 2-year extension? But Juan Mata's aging up now, he's 31 years of age. He has lost that yard of pace, and don't get me wrong, he has been a great servant in the Premier League. He's been in the Premier League 8 years in total. He's been at Manchester United 5 years, of course, as Juan Mata, but it's looking very imminent. He's going to be leaving. So this is why I said I said if Paul Pogba leaves anyway, we're going to need 3 new additions in that midfield, of course. But yeah, it's looking very imminent that Juan Mata is going to be leaving. Like I said, with De Gea, it's looking likely, he's going to be leaving Manchester United, because obviously, we failed to come to an agreement on a new contract for him. So yeah, it's looking likely, he's going to be leaving. But there's a lot of midfielders on Manchester United's agenda, but I do really like this James Maddison a lot, like I've said to you. Obviously, we've showed an interest in quite a few holding midfielders as well. Obviously, we're still. I think we're still in for Declan Rice from West Ham, and I really like Declan Rice a lot. He's well Premier League proven. Initially, learned his trade in the Premier League, only 20 years of age. Reports came out a while back saying that, Declan Rice could be available for around £50 million. And yeah, Declan Rice, yeah. very, very good player, holds his line very, very well, very energetic, and I think he's exceeded expectation levels at West Ham. He has been at West Ham a number of years. I think he's been in their senior squad quite a few years as Declan Rice, but he's the upcoming future. Of course, I think he's primarily defensive midfielder. Can also play as a centre back, but I think he's primarily a defensive midfielder. Got a contract with West Ham until 2024. So obviously, Manchester United have also inquired about his services. So yeah, I really, really like Declan Rice. Obviously, reports were coming out the other week about Thomas Partey from Atletico Madrid. Obviously, he's a central defensive midfielder. Obviously, Idrissa Gueye's been on Manchester United's agenda, for quite some time. Obviously, he's been spoken about as well. You can't argue, you can't complain about, Idrissa Gueye's stats because they're very impressive. Complete the most tackles across Europe, one of the most successful tacklers in the Premier League. Idrissa Gueye, 29 years of age, came out the other week saying that the quoted fee was around £35 million that Everton wanted for him. He's a defensive midfielder, so basically Everton are demanding, obviously, just over 5 times more than what they initially paid for him from Aston Villa back in 2016, of course. So yeah, there has been talks about Idrissa Gueye going on. So there has been quite a few holding midfielders that Manchester United have been linked with. Obviously as well, we have been in for Joe Felix from Benfica. Obviously it's Manchester United and Manchester City that are battling it out for Joe Felix. Obviously I think Benfica blatantly made it clear that his release clause has to be triggered. His release clause has to be triggered if they are willing to sell him. I think from Joe Felix's perspective, I think he still remains uncertain about his future at the moment. Only 19 years of age. Primarily an attacking midfielder is Joe Felix. Can also play as a winner, can also play as a second striker and a striker. So very, very versatile indeed is Joe Felix. So I'd love him at Manchester United. He did say Man United and Manchester City are willing to trigger his buyout clause. He did really, really well, with Benfica. So, last season, it was only his first season in his senior squad with Benfica. I don't think he's yet made his senior debut for Portugal. So, yeah, there has been a lot of talks about Joe Felix going on. So the main part of this video, was to give you the latest news about what's going on with Paul Pogba and all that. So reportedly now it does say, according to Sky Sports and that, Juventus are interested in re-signing Paul Pogba. It does say Juventus have made initial contact with his agent, Raiola. This is coming from the Italian journalist Damasio, who's a very reliable Italian journalist, especially when in relation to Manchester United. He's basically said that Juventus has made contact with Manchester United. Obviously no formal bid is being put in as yet, but it's probably more than likely that Juventus are going to have to sacrifice a player or two as part of the deal to lure Paul Pogba away from Manchester United. But I still believe if he leaves Manchester United, he's likely to make the move to Real Madrid, because I think he wants to make the move to Real Madrid. There's Paul Pogba. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do consider subscribe, as always, and take care. God bless, and I'll see you all again very, very soon. Thanks for watching.